Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Storm Corrosion's self-titled album, Storm Corrosion. And this is the highly anticipated collaboration between Steven Wilson of Porcupine and Micheal Akerfeldt of Opeth. And this was released on May 7th, 2012. And yeah, so the writing process is so focused on Akerfeldt, concentrated on guitar, while Wilson concentrated on keyboard and song arrangements. And of course there are lyrics which are done by both of them. They said they did pretty much 50-50 each of, the entire album. And yeah, so there are vocals, and they swap. It's mainly Steven Wilson, but Micheal Akerfeldt does sing on the first song, definitely. So is this collaboration a hit or a miss? Let's have a look. So, the track listing for this album is Drag Ropes, Storm Corrosion, Hag, Happy, Lockhow, and Ludet in Arn. Don't think I've said that right, to be honest. So, the album opens with the single Drag Ropes, which comes in a, quite a long 9:52, but for prog, I suppose it isn't that long. So, this song starts out with some woodwinds with some keyboards as well before the vocals come in. And it's definitely Micheal Akerfeldt who sings on this song, definitely. But you can hear Wilson as well, not saying he doesn't sing on it, but it's definitely mainly Akerfeldt. And the vocals are really nice, and you can tell that, this song, it has a, nice dark atmospheric tone to it. And, I would describe this, pretty much the whole album as dark atmospheric prog. And I'm a big, fan of progressive rock, and, when I listen to a good prog song, I expect it to either end in a, climax, like Camel's Lady Fantasy, for example, or take me on a roller coaster ride going up and down, like ELP's Carnival 9, or Transatlantic's All of the Above, for example. But this, it does neither. And it just becomes very boring and stale. I was waiting for it to go somewhere. It's like, yes, this has potential, but it never did. It just stayed pretty much the same throughout the entire 9 minutes 52, and made it really quite a task to sit through it. And it just fell flat to be honest, and became boring. I just ended up not really enjoying it. It was just like, phew, that song's over, instead of thinking, wow, that's good, I want to listen to it again. It really wasn't too impressed. So then we get to Storm Corrosion, the title track, and this comes in at 10 minutes 12. Starts with some woodwind, just like Drag Ropes, to be honest, but instead of keyboard behind it, it has some nice weather effects before an acoustic guitar comes in. And this song is mainly sung by Wilson, like most of the songs on this album. And yes, it's very nice, has a very nice tone to it. It's certainly atmospheric, but again, it suffers the same problems as Drag Ropes. It's pretty dull and overly pretentious, and, I like a good bit of pretentiousness. I'm a King Crimson fan, for God's sake. But even I find this just too much, to be honest. They really push the boundaries of pretentious, self-indulgent nonsense and twiddling and fiddling too much. I mean, there's nothing I hate in this song or the previous one, Drag Ropes. There's just nothing that I like. It just isn't my cup of tea so far in the album. So then we go to Hag, which is one of the shorter songs on the album, coming in at 6 minutes 28, and again sung by Wilson. And again, it's like the others, just a bit less monotonous, to be honest. I think I like this more than the other two, probably because it's shorter, and Wilson's keyboards are decent on it, I suppose. And it does get a bit heavier towards the end. It has a bit of a climax for once in this bloody album. But it wasn't exactly very good, though. I like the fact they made an effort, but it was pretty crap and fell flat again. And just didn't capture my imagination like the rest of the album hasn't. And then we get to Happy, and this is the up-tempo 4 minute 53 pop rock song with a catchy chorus. No, it's not really. It's more of the same stuff of Drag Ropes and Storm Corrosion and Hag, except shorter. And, you might think, well, there's less to endure, so it might be better. No, it's actually the worst song on the album. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the feel of it. It just felt like it went on for about a year. It was really just pretty you know, just not good, no. Then we get to Lock How, and this starts promisingly with some, you know, some good guitar work from Akerfeldt. There were a couple of songs that started to get promising, but amounted to nothing, and this is one of them. And it even includes some weird clapping, which is a nice change, I suppose. And again, it's the same old stuff. It's like they put the outtakes of the track Storm Corrosion into a song and called it Lock How, with no lyrics. Just an instrumental that goes on for 6 minutes and 9 of dull, self-indulgent crap. Yeah. Okay, so then we get to Ludet Inen, and I know I'm not saying that right, so sorry about that. And yeah, you know, nearly finished this album, I was thinking, you know, but then looked at the time and it's 10 minutes 20, it's the longest on the album, oh god. It starts out badly with some of the most pretentious vocals I've ever heard on an album. And it then moves to an orchestral sound, which is okay, and the song just seems to consist mostly of the same thing being played over and again, just with slight variations on notes, but in general it's the same, you know, basic thing, to be honest. Until Wilson's voice kicks in for the second time. Yes, it does have some pleasant guitar work in there, and yes, it's, you know, pleasant. It's just, well, no, maybe not. It's, the thing is, right, overall, this album, it's not horrible, you know, it's not like I was like, oh, you know, my ears are hurting with how awful this album is. It's just, there's nothing good about it. It's just bogged down by being overly self-indulgent for the sheer sake of it, rather than to further the song. These songs didn't feel like they deserved the pretentiousness that they got. I mean, clearly, Stephen Ross and Micheal Akerfeldt are two highly talented individuals. I'm not going to deny that. They know how to arrange a song and play their respective instruments. I just personally found this album, it wasn't my cup of tea. I do like this type of stuff. I mean, the Reticence Le Tombe Dietrich too, and if you haven't heard of them, check them out, they're awesome. It's one of my contenders for album of the year, and that's in a similar vein of Porcupine Tree Opeth. But this, it just couldn't capture my imagination. It just, as I said earlier, it just was not my cup of tea. I found my mind just wandering. It just couldn't capture me like other prog bands have. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to give Storm Corrosion a lowly 4 out of 10. As I said, it doesn't have anything particularly bad or offensive. It just doesn't have anything good. It's just a really boring album. But look, if I look at this more objectively, then yes, I can see how people could give this maybe a 7 out of 10. I can see how people could, you know, rate it that. It's certainly not a 9 or 10 or something stupid like that. But people, you know, give it a 7 or think it's a good album. I can see that. Just for me, I just didn't enjoy it. Probably get a bit of hate for it, but I just honestly couldn't get into this album. So, this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. And, as usual, long live rock and roll.